Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning once again.
Good morning.
We thank God for today, that one more day He has given to us to collect ourselves in this room and listen to Him talking to us. We truly thank the worship committee. The week has been very, very vibrant, and messages has been very clear. And I've just been wondering that where will we hide? What will be our excuse? With all these messages every day, every week, every month, every year. Today we are again privileged before His feet that we may listen to Him talking to us. We have the topic on the screen. Your failure is not your final. Your failure is not your final. After this brief lesson, there will be a cut. Continuous assessment test. Cut, not a wild one, but there will be a cut, a takeaway cut. The topic is your failure. It's not your what?
Your final.
Your final. Let's bow and pray. Thank you so much. One more time, our God, we want to talk about your word. We want to try to explain how much you love us even after we have failed. Our God, we pray that when we are doing this, you be with us. Give us ability to always put into practice what we are learning in this room. Write these words into our ears. In Jesus' name we pray. We are saying that your failure is not your final. You'll agree with me that in life, at one point, you must have failed. True or false? True. You must have failed, either in class, failing mathematics. You must have failed in English test. I know majority of us must have failed in Kiswahili.
Minority.
Okay, minority of us must have failed in Kiswahili. You must have failed, pastors, at one point, even as a husband. Yeah, you have failed as a husband. You have failed. Yes, as a husband. Things you promised when you are in courtship, you have not fulfilled some of them. Thank you so much, Pastor. You are trying, and you, congratulations. Some of us have failed to build a house even in this town for our wives.
Yes.
Even the ladies, you must have failed at one point as a mother, even as a wife. Yeah. Yeah, you have failed as a wife. There are things you promise to do, and in the altar you say, I will do, yes, I will do, but you are not doing them. You have failed. You may have even failed as a mother. You have failed as a father. Children looks at you and they are wondering, Daddy, is this really a daddy or who is this? Surely you have failed. You must have failed. By the way, even here in the office, you must have failed, Pastor, as a departmental director.
Yes.
And your colleagues, your counterparts looks at you and they are wondering, who was this appointed for us? They look at me as a treasurer and they are wondering, Sasa, you must have failed in, what are we saying? Not only that, even as a cousin, even in the society, even as a son, you must have failed your dad. Yeah, some of us, we thank God. Some of us were very, very stubborn when we were growing up. And today people look at you and they're wondering, really, was this the man? I am saying that your failure is not your what? Yes, your failure. You may have failed, but that is not your what? A story is told of a young boy who was born somewhere in Ohio in February 11th, 1847. This boy moved to Huron in Michigan when he was 7 years old. The boy had suffered from hearing problem, meaning he could not hear things properly. He had a problem with ears. As a result of that, he tried to attend school like any other boy child would want to go to a school. But soon he dropped out because of poor performance in class. Sometimes you have children, yani mtoto wako anarudi nyumbani number last. I don't know whether you have experienced such like. Your son comes home at the end of the term, position number last, 32 out of 32. His mother took upon her to teach him how to read and write. Thanks to the mothers. Benrik, Minemondo Pamani. That is Greek. Clap to the mothers, please. That's what I'm saying. She was the one who taught him mathematics and even encouraged him to read. At age 8, he began working as a casual laborer in a local railway road. The boy became very curious about and was asking too many questions about the course of events in his life and in the life around him. His curiosity increased, and in due course, he began to follow his dreams. Our topic is, your failure is not your what? Don't forget that. He was not an engineer or even a scientist. By the way, if you cannot read and write, how do you even think of being an engineer? As his education was not very impressive. He later became an entrepreneur at a very young age. He started selling candies and newspapers at age 10. If you are in Kenya today, this is child abuse. Mtoto anaenda, anauza mahindi on the road. Sometimes, let me say this, sometimes I was, when we were still staying here, staying in the quarters here. This road was not the way it is. It was still thin and bushy. And we were working in town, but we were staying here. So late in the evening, at around 6:30 towards 7, I found a young boy next to, slightly past Uzima, a young boy like this with a tray. And he was bitterly crying. So I stopped and asked him, Bana, what is the problem? It's a young boy like this. And as he was crying, he was shouting, Mia! But what is the problem? Mia! So I was, what is the problem? What the boy was telling me is, Mia is 100. So after selling the mahindi, Mia got lost. 100 not got lost. So he was wondering how he's going to go home and explain how 100 got lost. I took 200 and gave to him. Then I came. I believe that he... But this, what we are talking about is, even if your 100 is lost, don't cry so much. Your failure is not your what? When he was 16, he learned how to operate a telegraph and start machine, and started offering his services on that. Today, telegraphs may not be a common technology, but in those days it was. Despite his busy entrepreneurial schedule, he never stopped learning and continued doing experiments on the telegraph machine. In due course, he transitioned to become an inventor. And this is the Thomas Alva Edison whom we are talking about. This is the inventor of the common bulbs we see, the globes. If you are coming to Kisumu and have the privilege, or even going to Nairobi and have the privilege of flying, then you see the lights as you approach Nairobi town or as you approach Kisumu town, how many they are. And then you trace it and find that this is the guy who invented those things, the light, the bulb, the globe. Thomas Edison today, or at that time, is recorded as the most famous and highly respected American inventor. But remember, the guy could not make it in class. It is the mother who did it, tried. He once said that genius comprised of 1% inspiration and 99% perspiration. Do you know what that means? That 99% of the things we do successfully is because of hard work. Not because of the talents, not because of the creative ideas you have. Those takes only what percent? 1%. With this remarkable invention, he showed how one can become prodigious inventor without traditional schooling. You must not be number one in class. Actually, somewhere, if you don't know, Bill Gates once said that I failed an exam which my friend in class passed. Today, he is an engineer and I am in Microsoft and I am the owner of Microsoft. I don't know whether you have read that quote from Bill Gates. That I failed in an exam which my friend passed in the same class. Today, he is an engineer in Microsoft and I am the owner. Meaning he has employed a friend who passed the exam, which he did what? He failed. Thomas Edison had 1,090 patents and intellectual rights which are recorded in his name in different segments of economy. He holds the world's highest record as a patent holder. You may not know what a patent holding means, but he holds the highest in record. Question: how many times did Thomas Edison fail to invent the light bulb? Do you know how many times? Not 1,000 times. Look at what he's saying. His light bulb invention wasn't an instant success. He failed a lot. Thomas Edison tried over 10,000 times different material in search of the filament. It therefore means that he failed over 10,000 times, because if he was trying materials, testing, When he was asked by a news reporter, reporters, what were media? Bias, and they will corner you with the question. When he was asked by a media how he felt when he failed several times, do you know the answer he gave? This is the answer he gave. He said that I did not fail 10 times, 10,000 times. I only found 10,000 times in which it will not work. Guys, what we are saying is that your failure is not your what? So when you have tried the first time and it has not worked, you have not failed. You have learned that in that way it doesn't do what? The power of determination. Let me tell you something, that in leadership, you like or you don't, leadership involves risks and mistakes. And they will always be there. Guys, you will always make mistakes. You will always fail. These are some of the common things we say about failure. Are they right? Are they wrong? I call them attributions of error about failure. We say that we take credit for success, but we blame others for what? Failures. And that's the common nature of human beings. Huyu mtoto ni amefanya but mama huyu mtoto wako. The guy is successful and he has scored and is being announced in the radio as the top boss to whatever in KCP. Mtoto wangu, hiyo ni damu yetu. Your failure is not your what? Success has many fathers. But failure is what? An orphan. Nobody wants it. Many people will seek credit for success, but few will accept responsibility for failure. Effects of failure. You will agree with me that where failure has occurred, there will be betrayal. Where failure has occurred, there will be hopelessness, there will be anger, there will be bitterness, there will be hurt, there will be grief. Where failure has occurred, there will be disillusionment. There will be shame. People don't want to associate with it. There will be conflicts. It can even be departmental conflict, interpersonal conflict. It can even be national. Many of the conflicts that you see around, even in the family, we talk of gender-based violence, we talk of domestic violence and the rest. Those are coming as a result of failures. Somebody has failed somewhere. Anxiety, jealousy, hatred, frustrations in life, depression, loss of productivity, even for us here. You go to the office, you don't even perform. But ultimately, it will lead to death. People have died committing suicide, killing each other, and the rest. Those are some of the effects of failures. What we are saying is failure is not falling down. It is actually remaining there where you have fallen. That's according to John Maxwell. See, this is one of the leadership gurus that you should be reading about. And actually, this is confirmed by what Proverbs says. Solomon said that for a righteous man falls how many times?
7 times.
But even more than 7 times. And rises again. But the wicked stumble in times of what? Disaster and collapse. When he collapses, he stumbles. Our mistakes won't irreparably damage our lives unless we let them to do so. Abraham Lincoln is one of the people you look in history, but he once said that all people failed at certain instances. All of us fail in certain in our lives. The only thing that makes the difference is how they manage to stand up or how they choose to remain there where they have failed. That's the only difference. And that is why we are saying that your failure is not your what? Your final. You check, have an exercise, and look at some of the persons who have been rejected as failures in life, yet have become big names. Today I've given you Edison as an example. Talk of many that you know. If I had time, I would have told you about Winnie Oprah. We would have talked of Bill Gates if he had time. And many others who are rejected as failures but became big names. But time may not allow me to do that. We always, and I am saying this again from official position, we do give book and equipment allowance, isn't it? Sometimes some of us get it. But even if you don't get it, try to buy books and read. And this is one of the books. This is one of the people I talked about that you need to read a lot about. John C. Maxwell, one of the serious guys in leadership. And has written many books. Actually, there's even a Bible. I just failed to carry mine, a green Bible I have. I decided to take discipleship because that is what we are talking about. But I have a green Bible, J.C. Maxwell Bible. I know some of us, leadership Bible, I know some of us have seen it. So try to read some of this, but this is one of the books I encourage you. And there are many series of these books. This one I bought it and I have it in my house and I do read it. Look at the title of that book. Failing what? Forward. How do you fail forward? We want to look at least some rules. Of course, in the definition in that book, failing forward is the most known topic or title of that book. But in definition or in description, failing forward is when a person failing embraces that failure as a stepping stone for success. When you are failing forward, each failure moves you towards your goal. Each failure moves you forward. And so the title, failing what? Forward. I'm just trying to explain the title of the book. But our topic is, your failure is not your what? Your final. In this book, he has given 17 rules for failing forward. But time will not allow us to look at all the 17. There are a few that I have picked that we look at, and then we stop there for today. Number 1, failure is unavoidable. Fail, learn, grow, and innovate. Success in many endeavors comes in hand with what? Success comes alongside. Success comes in hand with failure. You want success, you must be ready to fail. Failure is unavoidable. Actually, it is part of the process towards what? Success. When failure occurs, it is actually an indication. It is an indicator that you are actually acting. You are innovating. You are pushing outside your comfort zone. But you know, the other way is also true. That when you are not failing, it could mean that you are doing nothing. That is also true.
Yes.
Number two, failure is not an event. Like success, it is not a destination. It's not a point. It's not where we are going. It is a journey. Failure is an invitation to unforeseen success. Somebody wants to say that a person who has never failed has never done anything. Is that true? Yes. Failure is not the end of the road. It is actually an opportunity to learn. Be willing to fail and move towards your success. Don't forget our topic. Your failure is not your what? Failure is not irreversible. Let nobody cheat you that failure is, it is not irreversible. It therefore means, from English, for people who it means that it is reversible. What are we saying? Somebody said that don't lose the cow. It doesn't matter how many times you spill the milk, but don't lose the what? We always say that it is a spilt milk. Here in my end, no, we are saying the cow is still there.
Yeah.
It says that what you are seeing as a failure may not be even a failure as such. Ati maziwa kidogo hivi imemwagika hapa chini, lakini ng'ombe bado yuko. Sasa wewe unalia, unapiga mtoto, unalia, lakini si ng'ombe bado yuko. So that which you are calling a failure may not even be a failure. It may not, that which has happened to you, may not diminish your ability to produce, to contribute, or even to earn more income. Your security does not come from your job, or from your employer, or from the government. Somebody said that your security is your ability to produce. So the question is, when you lose your job, think about it. Is that a spilled milk, or that is a dead cow? Yeah, what is it? That's a spilled milk, guys. It doesn't matter how many times you spill the milk, as long as the cow is not dead. I mean, si ukiacha kazi hapa, si utapata kwingine.
Yeah.
So why are you so frustrated that you have now failed in life? Now let me put it closer, guys. Let me put it closer. Let me bring it home. If you are not elected pastor as a departmental director in September 2022 in Kamagambo, is that the end of life?
No.
That's just a spilled milk. Number 4, build the habit of achievers. Achievers reject rejections. They take responsibility for their actions, but they don't take failure personally. Achievers see failures as a temporary. Achievers see failure as an isolated incident. Achievers keep expectations realistic. Achievers focus on the strength. Achievers vary approaches to achievement. Achievers bounce back. Your failure is not your what? Your final. I have just not been elected, but I'm going to bounce back. I have been using this method, but I'm going to vary the method towards the what? The goal. They reject rejections. You tell him he's a failure, he says he's not a failure. You tell him, how do you feel after failing 10,000 times? He says, I didn't fail 10,000 times. I only found 10,000 times through which it does not work. Achievers reject rejections. We are almost finishing them. Be willing to take risk. We are just looking at rules. Some of the rules, there are 17 according to J.C. Maxwell. But we are looking some of them, and we are in number 5. Rules for failing forward. Rules of failing forward means rules that you use that when you fail, that failure pushes you to the next level. Be willing to take what? Risk. Your child comes home with a report, and there's a space for head teacher's remarks. And the teacher writes that too cautious to make a meaningful decision. How do you take that one? That your son is too cautious to make a meaningful decision. What are we saying? Purposelessness living is when you don't take any risk and you go for your dream. You go about life without any sense of direction. If you are not willing to take risk for unusual, then you will settle for the ordinary. And that could be one of the reasons why I have remained ordinary, you have remained ordinary. You don't think outside the box. Number 6, achievers take one step at a time. Ideally, there's no way you can take 2 steps together at the same time. Is it possible? No. Nowadays, the world lives in a fast world mode, fast forward mode. Everything is fast. Everything is fast. You need fast things. Somebody say that you go to the restaurant, there is fast fried chicken, fast chips, fast, everything is fast. And many people are afraid to walk step by step and carefully. Nevertheless, the journey of 1,000 miles becomes only worthwhile with one step at a what? At a time. Some of us want to be Simon Makonde. Don't know whether you read about Simon Makonde. Born on a Monday, married on a Friday, died on a... You want to achieve everything the same day. You are just employed today as a... let me use my department. You just be employed as an accountant. You want to be associate treasurer next month, and then you want to be the treasurer by December. Actually, by next year, you are thinking how you can be the treasurer for the division. Now, does it work? One step at a what? At a time. Examples, examine your fears. Determine what is your first step you can take. Keep on trying to achieve your first step, then go on to the next step, and you must act from this action and spring. So take action and reduce your what? Your fear. Start by what is the first step, what is the second step, and then move on. Learn the secret of contentment. And here we are talking about what Paul is saying. Paul says that not that I am speaking about of being in need, for I have learned in whatever situation I am to be contented. I know how to be brought low. Hi guys, I know how to abound. In any and in every circumstance, I have learned the secret of facing plenty but also hunger. I have learned how to face abundance, but how to face need. And then he concludes by saying that I can do all things. Guys, one of the steps, one of the ways of failing forward is learn contentment. Question is, when something or someone is harassing you today, does contentment settle your soul? Hallelujah. If you come to our office today and you are looking for advance, mtoto anaenda shule kesho, alafu tukwambie account yako haikubali, you are not going to give you. Will contentment settle your soul? Think about that. Here we are working supervisors and the people. Evans, if I come in the morning and frustrate you with quarrels, will contentment settle your soul? Jack, I had some issues with Wakina Jack in the morning when we came in the morning, but they were light ones. Will contentment settle your soul? But contentment is not containing your emotions. It is not maintaining status quo. Don't confuse the two. We are looking at how when you fail, you move forward. This is the second last. This is the second last item. Think about what you can also do. Think about what you can also give. Yeah, I like Pastor Misiani, and he said it here even, and I like that statement. Sometimes when I am annoyed, and there's nothing wrong when I am annoyed in my family, guys. We have agreed that sometimes you fail. So when I get into the house sometimes and I look at how things are working, I get annoyed. And I say, but I like his statement. He says that in marriage, it is people with love to give. People who are looking at where do they want to give that love. It is not people who are disparate of love. So even when you're frustrated, I look, niko nayo, napeana. So think of what you can do, guys. What are we saying? It is not about what you, it is all about what you give. It's not about what you get. And this implies even to relationships, even in businesses. So don't judge the day by the harvest you reap. Louis Stevenson said that, but also think and judge the day by the seed you have done what? Put the team spirit, guys. That's what we are saying. You know, there are some people who the only person they know in life are 3 people. There are only 3 people he knows in life, Pastor. Who are those people? 3. Like this, everything, anywhere he goes, he only knows 3 people. Can I tell you those people? Number 1 person he knows is I. Number 2 person he knows is me. And number 3 is myself. Evie. So everything, he's looking at what am I gaining? What is there for me? By the way, sorry to say this, and my fellow leaders forgive me on this. It happens in leadership and in administration. Some of us, when the policy he will twist the policy, he will twist the circumstance as long as he's gaining. But even where we work, he will bring a rule which is helping him. The last item we are talking about is don't compare yourself with others, but compete only against your what? Count your blessings, guys. Be grateful for what you have and for who you are. There is always something that you can be thankful about. You don't have to complain, and complain. Don't compare yourself with others. Guys, what we are saying is that you may be having no idea of the journey those people you are trying to compare yourself with have gone through. You may not even know where they are going. I don't know the vision of pastor, but I want to compare myself with him. By the way, somebody once said that when God created, he only created one David Sande without even spare parts. So they can't even be replaced. My mother gave birth to only one David Sande. So when you are thinking that you want to be David Sande, your mother gave birth to only Pastor Philip Guy, period. So when I want to be Pastor Philip Guy, really? It's not possible. It's not possible. So stop comparing yourself with that. By the way, even your children, stop comparing your children with the children of your neighbor. Stop comparing your son with the son of your neighbor or your brother. Ati mwe kama watoto wa huyu. Ni mbaya. We are all our own trajectory, our careers, our families. By the way, even your family, don't compare your family with the family of another. Don't look at your wife and then you want to compare with another one. Don't look at your husband and then you want to compare. We are different. Even in the health status, many people forget about this. What we are saying, learn, acknowledge, learn the pain, forgive yourself, forget, and then move on. We are concluding by saying that disappointments are more prevalent in life. The question is not if you will have problems. It is not if you will fail. It is how are you going to deal with the failure? Because failure you will. Life is much better when you live, try, and fail. Living a life requires someone failing every now and again. The difference between an average person and achievers is how they respond to failure. Remove you from failure. You are saying that find the benefit in every bad experience. I'm concluding with what Romans says, that not only so, but we also glory in sufferings, because we know that suffering produces what? Perseverance. And perseverance produces what? And character produces what? Hope. And hope does not do what to us? Philippians 6 says that be confident of this, that he who began the good work in you is faithful to do what? To finish it. So when you fail, know that that is just a process towards the finished goal. But Gospel Worker says this, which is very interesting. He says that workers of Christ are never to think, much less to speak of failure in their work. Paul now puts it clear that 3 times I pleaded with the Lord about this. But this it should be. But he said to me that my grace is what? Sufficient. For when I am weak, I am what?
Strong.
Christ object lessons. Press on with determination in the right direction. And circumstances will be your what? Not what? Now, we said that there's a cut at the end of it. Didn't I say? You must have revised your notes. Question 1. After all this, what have you learned from your failure? And question 2. And the instruction is you must answer all the questions. Describe a situation in which you had to deal with the failure of another person. Now, how would you handle the situation now? God bless you in Jesus' name. Amen. Thank you so much. I think God has blessed us.